Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our presentation on how to pick the criteria for a decision. Today, we're going to explore how to identify and select the key factors that help us make effective and informed choices. As you can see from the image, decisions often feel like standing at a crossroads, weighing options between different paths, like sloth or vitality. I'm excited to guide you through this important topic and share strategies that will enhance your decision-making process. Let's dive in. Let's start by defining what decision criteria are. Essentially, these are the standards or principles we use to evaluate different options so that our decisions remain consistent. Think of it as having a clear checklist that guides us through the decision-making process. Next, consistency is key. Using the same criteria across similar situations helps us avoid bias and ensures fairness. This way, every decision is made on a level playing field, which builds trust and reliability in our process. Finally, clarity is crucial. Well-defined criteria make the entire decision process transparent and easy to understand for everyone involved. When all stakeholders see the basis for decisions clearly, it fosters better communication and smoother collaboration. Together, these three elements, definition, consistency, and clarity, form the foundation for making informed and fair decisions every time. Here, we're focusing on understanding the decision context by breaking it down into three essential elements. First, the purpose. It's crucial to clarify why the decision is being made to ensure everyone is aligned with the overall goals. Without a clear purpose, the decision-making process can lose direction. Next, the scope and constraints. Defining these boundaries helps us understand the limitations and parameters that affect how the decision can be made. This keeps us realistic and grounded in what's feasible. Finally, stakeholders. We need to identify all the parties involved or impacted by the decision. This ensures that their interests are considered, leading to more comprehensive and accepted outcomes. Together, these points create a solid foundation for making informed decisions. Here we're focusing on the importance of defining clear decision objectives. When setting objectives, it's crucial that they clearly outline what we want to achieve. This clarity helps guide our decisions effectively, ensuring that every choice we make aligns with our desired outcomes. Think of it like aiming for a bullseye. When goals are specific and well-defined, our efforts become more targeted and successful. The image here of volunteers distributing food and aid reminds us that clear objectives in such initiatives can lead to tangible positive impacts. Here, we're looking at how to generate a list of potential criteria by combining both quantitative and qualitative examples. On the left, the image shows a person working through tasks with sticky notes, highlighting the importance of setting clear deadlines and understanding key metrics like net worth and performance graphs. Focusing first on the quantitative examples, these involve measurable factors such as cost, time, and return on investment. These help us evaluate different options objectively by relying on concrete data. On the flip side, qualitative examples encourage us to consider broader perspectives. This includes user satisfaction, how well the options align with our overall strategy, and the impact on our brand. These factors, while less tangible, are crucial for understanding the full picture and ensuring we make well-rounded decisions. Here, we're comparing quantitative and qualitative criteria, two key ways to evaluate information. On the left, quantitative criteria focus on numbers and measurable data, like sales figures or test scores. These are clear and objective, relying on precise measurement methods, which makes them straightforward to analyze. On the right, we have qualitative criteria, which are more descriptive and subjective. Think of customer feedback or observations gathered through interviews or visual inspections. These provide valuable insights that numbers alone can't capture. The image of the balance scale perfectly represents the importance of weighing both types fairly to get a complete picture. The calculator icon reminds us of the numeric nature of quantitative data, while the clipboard symbolizes the detailed descriptive approach of qualitative data. Balancing these two criteria helps us make well-rounded, informed decisions. Here we see a horizontal bar chart that breaks down the weights assigned to different evaluation criteria. Cost is clearly the most significant factor, making up 30% of the total weight. Following that, quality holds a substantial importance at 25%. Time comes next with 20%, which reflects how scheduling impacts decision-making. Risk is assigned 15%, indicating the need to consider potential uncertainties. Finally, strategic fit carries 10%, showing that alignment with long-term goals, while important, is weighted a bit less compared to the other factors. This visual helps us understand where focus should be prioritized when evaluating options. Here we focus on two main methods for evaluating and prioritizing criteria: the ranking method and pairwise comparison. Starting with the ranking method, this approach involves ordering criteria from the most important to the least significant. It's straightforward and provides a clear priority list, making it easy to understand which factors should carry more weight in decision-making. On the other hand, the pairwise comparison method allows us to compare criteria two at a time to assess their relative importance. This technique is especially helpful for more nuanced decisions because it helps derive precise weights based on direct comparisons between each pair of criteria. Together, these methods offer flexible ways to rank and weigh factors depending on the complexity of the decision at hand. When designing effective criteria, specificity is key. Each criterion should focus on a single clear aspect to avoid any confusion or ambiguity. Moving on, measurability is essential. We need to ensure that every criterion can be quantified or evaluated objectively so that assessments are consistent and reliable. It's also important to prevent overlap between criteria. Avoiding redundancy by making sure criteria do not cover the same ground helps maintain clarity and distinct evaluation points. Lastly, identifying clear data sources or methods for assessing each criterion ensures that the evaluation process is grounded and verifiable. Together, these elements help us create criteria that are usable, clear, and meaningful. Here, we're focusing on two important concepts: avoiding overlapping criteria and managing conflicting criteria. First, common overlaps occur when different criteria assess similar factors. To prevent double counting, it's essential to clearly define each criterion and highlight what makes them distinct. This clarification helps in maintaining accuracy during evaluation. Then we have conflicting criteria, which are contradictory requirements that can lead to inconsistent scoring. The key is to identify these conflicts early and either revise them or set priorities so scoring remains fair and reliable. Together, these steps ensure that the evaluation process is both clear and coherent. Here, we're focusing on the importance of involving key stakeholder groups when selecting criteria. Bringing together decision-makers, users, and experts allows us to capture a range of perspectives that are crucial for making well-rounded decisions. By engaging these groups, we ensure that the criteria we develop are relevant and aligned with the needs and expectations of everyone involved. This collaborative approach not only enhances the quality of our criteria, but also helps build consensus and support throughout the process. Here we focus on validating and refining criteria through a structured approach. First, pilot testing is essential. By applying our criteria to example options, we can see how well they work in real situations and ensure they're relevant. Next, collecting feedback helps us gain a deeper understanding by gathering both numerical data and opinions from stakeholders. This gives us a well-rounded view of how the criteria are performing. Finally, iterative revision allows us to fine-tune the wording, adjust weights, or even change data sources based on the feedback we received. This continuous improvement ensures clarity and accuracy in the final criteria. The image here emphasizes the feedback process, highlighting the importance of tracking responses to make informed adjustments. Here we see the final weighted scores for each of the options we're considering. Option A leads with a score of 72, indicating it meets our criteria the best overall. Option B follows with a score of 60, showing a respectable alignment but not as strong as Option A. Option C has the lowest score at 48, suggesting it's the least favorable choice based on our weighted criteria. These scores help us objectively compare each alternative by quantifying how well they satisfy the key factors in our decision-making process. This approach ensures that our final selection is data-driven and balanced according to the priorities we've established. To wrap up, the first key point is aligning your criteria to the objectives. It's crucial that every criterion directly supports your main goals to keep the process focused and relevant. Next, make sure your criteria are measurable. Using clear, quantifiable terms helps avoid confusion and ensures fairness across the board. Then, involve stakeholders early on. Engaging all relevant parties from the start not only builds consensus, but also brings in diverse insights that strengthen decision-making. Finally, always validate and iterate. Continuously reviewing and refining your criteria allows you to improve decision quality over time and adapt to any changes. These steps together create a solid foundation for effective and transparent decision-making. Here we come to an important part of our process: questions and discussion. First, let's think about the critical criteria. Which of these criteria do you feel are absolutely essential for making our decision? It's important to identify these early so we can focus our efforts effectively. Next, we have required data. What specific information or data will we need to properly assess and score each criterion? Gathering the right data ensures our evaluation will be accurate and meaningful. Lastly, stakeholder involvement. How should we bring our stakeholders into the conversation moving forward? Their input and engagement are key to successful outcomes. With these questions in mind, I'm eager to hear your thoughts and ideas.